So we've only had 5 multiple shooter attacks in our country. So over 90% chance it's going to be one shooter. All the ones in the last 10 months have been one shooter. But even if there is just one shooter, there's 2 enemies. And that second enemy pops his head up as soon as the shooter shoots his first round. And that's the clock. And that's the enemy that no one is paying attention to. That's the enemy. No one. It's not enough for your plan to stop the active shooter. They will all stop, right? No one wants their house to catch on fire, and they call the fire department and say, "My house is on fire. Come put it out." And they say, "Well, just let it burn. It'll go out eventually." I mean, if all you want the fire to do is go out, let it burn because it'll eventually go out. No, we want it out now. So down there at the bottom, I was just up assisting 2 schools up in Iowa because they have decided to go armed. And in one of them, the city police chief wrote a letter against the school deciding to go armed. And one of his big reasons was, hey, listen, we have a tri-county, a multiple county SWAT team, and they are highly trained and highly equipped. And there's no way we can expect people in the school to be as highly trained and highly equipped as a SWAT team. So we shouldn't arm anybody in the school. And I'm like, no, there's no way we can expect the calculus teacher to be as well trained or well armed as SWAT. But what you left out was the second threat, the clock. How quickly can you get this highly trained SWAT team from 3 different counties assembled into the school? Well, by the time you do that, if it's still going on, you're going to have an extremely high body count. So I keep running into that where no one's looking at the clock. It's not enough to stop it. We got to stop it quickly. Go ahead. So how do we stop him quickly? There's only 3 ways I know to do it. One is to shoot him down. That works extremely well. It's got a good track record. The second way is to by threatening him, by confronting him with deadly force, he decides to shoot himself, which happens quite a bit. That works extremely well. Or if the person there that's going to fight him doesn't have a gun, then he fights him unarmed. Doesn't work nearly as well as with a gun, but it can work. So if I know I'm talking to a group like a school, most schools are not going to have armed staff. If I'm talking to them, I highlight and go through school attacks where unarmed students and staff fought back successfully. So either of those ways will work. Once we stop the active shooter, we also stop the clock, which is a beautiful thing, and that does 3 wonderful things. Go to the next slide. Once we stop the shooter and the clock, 3 things happen. He will not shoot any new people, so the victim count will not go up. He will not reshoot people he's already shot, which happens quite a bit. So they have a better chance of surviving because they don't have as many bullet holes. And now we can get the magic, the wonderful magic of emergency medicine in to treat and evacuate the few people that we let him shoot before we stopped him so they have a better chance and they don't bleed out for 3 hours on the floor like they did at Pulse nightclub. Go ahead.